to our guest. It's Dr. Paul Baratero, and he is going to dispel all the myths about hydrogen water, which is a trendy thing out there. So I'm excited to delve into that with you. But first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And will you just tell my listeners a little bit about yourself and maybe why you even got into hydrogen water?
Yeah, it's a little bit by accident, quite honestly, but it was out of necessity. My sweet wife, we had been married 10 years. Now we're married 32 years.
Well, congrats.
Thank you. At that time, we were married 10 years, and she was really sick. She had thyroid issues, anemia, gynecological issues. Each month on her menstrual cycle, we would lose her for a week. Just she was doubled over in pain. She had adenomyosis. So a lot of issues, short-term memory issues, just energy, adrenals, all the things you could imagine that would be difficult for her. So here we were struggling through that, trying to find anything that could help her because she was not doing well. And it got to a point where I was like, I don't know if she's going to make it, kind of a thing.
Wow.
Like, I might be a widow at 31 years old,
Wow.
and that's really not what I want because I like her a lot,
Yeah.
right? So here we were, and I had some friends. We were serving together in church, and they had some money issues after 9/11. So right after 9/11, they had an organic food store in Kissimmee, Florida. And everyone going to Disney would buy organic food from their store, and that was a lot of their revenue. So now no one's going to Disney. They lost half their revenue of their business, and they were in trouble. So they came to get help. I gave them help, and after about a year or two of them not being able to pay back, I forgave the interest and said, "Don't worry about the interest. Just start paying back the principal. Doesn't matter how long it takes, you know." Well, after they ended up paying back the principal, they took my wife and I on a cruise. In 2005, November 2005, they took us on a cruise. And on that cruise, they brought water with them. And I thought that was the strangest thing in the world to bring on a cruise was gallons of water to drink. And I said, they have water on the ship, right?
That's funny.
Yeah. And so they're like, "No, don't drink that water, drink this." And I'm like, okay. So they gave us our little suitcase with 4 gallons of water. And so we think nothing of it. We're like, whatever. We get on the ship. Jacqueline goes straight to bed because the first day of that cruise was the first day of her cycle.
Oh.
And even though it was a 9-day cruise, I thought she's not going to see most of it,
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, and we didn't schedule the trip. It was a gift to us from them. So she gets thirsty. "Hey, can I have some of that water?" Sure. I drink the water. I didn't sprout wings and fly. Nothing happened. We give her the water, and she's like, "Can I have more? Can I have more?" And she kept asking for more. And I'm like, "Babe, that's a lot of water." She's like, "I don't know. My body is craving this water." And she puts her fists together and she's like, "I can't stop drinking it. Like my body's craving this." I'm like, "Okay, I'll drink the toilet water. You drink the whatever." So she starts drinking the water. Within a day and a half on this cruise, she's up and around and participating. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I asked my friends, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Well, we thought it would help her. That's why we brought it."
Oh, interesting.
And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. What do you mean?" And they're like, "That's what saved the business. That's how we were able to pay you back is we're selling like 200 gallons a day of this water in our little store. That's what saved us."
Oh, interesting.
And I'm like, "What? Like, what the heck? What is it?" And they're like, "We don't know, actually. We just know we get it out of this machine and we give it to people and it helps them." And I'm like, "Okay,
oh, interesting.
Now you're scaring me a little because if you don't know what's it doing." And they're like, "Yeah, we really don't know." And so here's me. I'm happy that my wife's feeling better. I don't think anything about it. I'm a guy. Let's be honest. It fixed her on the cruise. We're going back to life. Yay for us. 6 months later, we're doing our family council. And I'm like, "Okay, when's your cycle going to be so I can plan my trips this month?" And she goes, "I'm on it." And I'm like, "What? You left the house. Like, I don't understand."
Interesting.
And she's like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. I left the house. This is okay, weird, right?" And I said, What happened?" And she goes, "I'm drinking that water still." And I'm like, "What? You're now one of the people going to buy the water by the gallon?" She goes, "Absolutely. You didn't notice the gallon container in the pantry?" I'm like, "Of course I didn't notice the gallon." So, long story short, this was a life-changing thing for us. My friends still did not know what any mechanism would be. They kept saying it was the pH. Well, we know that's nonsense. the pH of water doesn't get through stomach acid anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I later figured out there was no hydrogen in that water. I don't want everyone to think that's how we discovered hydrogen, but there was no hydrogen in water. But what there was a negative ORP. So when you test water, you have a positive or a negative ORP, what stands for oxidation reduction potential of water. Typical tap water will have a positive 600 millivolts of electrical potential in the water. When you run water through electrolysis, because hydrogen was present, we'll end up with a negative electrical potential. Well, that's really good for the gut bacteria. And so what I know happened with her is that water immediately restored and began a process of helping her gut to restore. And that was enough for her body to get a little bit of an edge. And so she was able to participate on the cruise. Then after the cruise, she kept drinking it. And so her gut was improving. So when I started doing research after seeing her after 6 months, I was like, okay, I got to figure out what this is, because these people are nuts, right? Like, they're saying it's going to cure all these things. And of course, that scares me when people talk like that. And if they don't know, and especially if they don't know why, and they can't even attempt to tell me why, I'm like, okay, bye. Like, I am not interested in talking to you. So I had to go figure out, why would the ORP be in the water? Why would this happen? And so it's really simple. Electrolysis, which is what the machine they were buying, which the machine they were buying isn't even available anymore, but the machine was traditional electrolysis, which means you were separating water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen gas. And that's why we have what's called alkaline water and acid water. But the alkaline part of it doesn't do a thing for the body, the pH part. That negative ORP that happens because hydrogen was present, that stays in the water, and that can help people's guts. Now, hydrogen goes out too, typically with these machines that are electrolysis based, like what they call alkaline machines. The hydrogen gas will go out of the water because it's not nano or tiny bubbles. They're larger bubbles because calcium builds up on the electrodes of those machines. And so the hydrogen coalesces and gets too large of bubbles, and it just goes out to atmosphere. So you don't have those benefits either. So here I understood, after my wife was helped greatly and ended up being healed after 6 months of a lot of her issues, not everything, but a lot of the issues. I figured out, okay, hydrogen can do a lot of things in the body, because I started researching, why would ORP? Well, ORP would be there because of hydrogen. Well, there's no hydrogen in this water, so it's just ORP. So that gave her this tremendous benefit. But what if we can keep the hydrogen in the water? And that was then my mission. I felt very strongly inside that I needed to create water, not only with the negative ORP, but to keep the hydrogen gas in the water. And that was really where it all began for me.
Okay, so...
lot to unpack.
That is a lot. That's an amazing story.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that it helped her. And we're going to talk about how it can help people in a minute. But let's just go back to hydrogen water, because a lot of times when people hear that, and I'm one of them, before I talked to you, and even when you came and talked to me in my office, I was like, I don't believe in a lot of hydrogen water. I think they're a gimmick, and especially the ones on the store shelves.
And you're correct to feel that way.
So, okay, let's talk about what hydrogen water is in a simplified form, or let's talk about your Echo water. And then why it is and isn't a gimmick.
So hydrogen water, when people hear that word, usually a good percentage of people say, well, isn't hydrogen already in water? That's their first response.
Right, because of H2O.
Yeah. And so that's a great question. You know, it's a great thought process. I'm not faulting anyone for that. But the reality is, what creates water is two gases, hydrogen gas, H2, and O, oxygen. But when they combine, they form a liquid. They're no longer gas. We're not breathing in water. We're not fish, right? So a liquid is formed by those two gases combining. So we do not have hydrogen gas in water.
Okay.
We now have a new substance called water that is H2O of its constituent elements, but they're now formed and bonded into a liquid.
Okay, makes sense.
So hydrogen water means, and it's probably a poor name, and so we need to make eco water like the Coke, or, where people don't say soda, they say Coke or whatever. But what hydrogen water really means is that you have dissolved H2 gas into H2O liquid.
Okay.
And they don't bond together, just like a carbonated water. The carbon dioxide is not bonding to the water molecule. It's riding along like a person in a vehicle, right?
Okay.
So hydrogen gas, in the same way, is just riding along. So the water becomes a vehicle to get that hydrogen gas into the body. That's what we need.
Okay, so is your Echo, let's look at your Echo bottle.
Yep.
Okay, those that are just listening, he has an Echo bottle that has water in it. Does that put hydrogen then into the water?
That's all it does. So unlike the scam products on the market that put chlorine and who knows what else because they are traditional electrolysis, we know they're putting chlorine. You can put chlorine reagent in them and test them. So most people that are buying hydrogen bottles are getting scammed.
Okay.
This bottle, like if I turn it on here, you've got a touch screen that you control it with. I don't know if you can see that, but there are tons of bubbles going in. Only in our product, in Echo branded products, only H2 gas.
Okay.
Out the bottom right here, you see the blue light?
Yep.
That's where oxygen, chlorine, and ozone can come out if they're formed.
Okay.
So out the bottom is a filter, because we don't use traditional electrolysis. We use a proton exchange membrane.
Okay.
And that, proton exchange, right? You're exchanging protons, and out the bottom comes oxygen and chlorine, O2, O3, and Cl2.
Okay.
To be exact. Just H2 gas is going into the water. And that's what we want, is just the hydrogen. We have currently 2,000 studies showing effects with 200 disease models with H2 gas.
Interesting. Okay, so before I talk about some of those studies, on the store shelves, it's not just hydrogen put into the water, or it is?
No, with you're talking about with the products on
that you can buy at the grocery store even. You'll see ones that say like H2O, hydrogen water.
Yeah, I would tell you that hydrogen is number one on the periodic table. It is tiny. It goes through plastic, glass, metal. There's only one aluminum membrane that has been formed so far that will hold it in. And so anytime you're buying a pre-made hydrogen water, if you notice, they will never state the concentration of hydrogen on the container because they know it's not going to be there. Yeah. If you think about a gallon of water sitting there and you had, hydrogen water in there, you're going to lose 0.1 parts per million per 24-hour period through the container.
Interesting.
Even if there's no airspace, if there's airspace inside, it's all going to that.
Okay.
Because hydrogen's always going to take the path of least resistance. But let's say we put water all the way to the very tippy top and there's no airspace, nowhere for hydrogen to go. It's going to go out the bottle eventually.
Interesting. Okay, so that's why it's a gimmick.
Yeah.
We have to buy something that actually works and is scientifically proven.
Yep.
Okay, but now I was blown away when you were telling me all the health benefits of hydrogen water.
Yep.
And so let's start with like your wife, because it was helping her gut, like you said. Which then we know the gut is connected to the brain and mood and our hormones, and then the hormones obviously with our cycles every month and things like that. So why, though, is hydrogen helping the gut?
That's an excellent question. And it is the $1 million question because, in my opinion, as an ND, the gut is everything. That's where the bacteria is in the body, majority of the bacteria in the body. That's where our immune function, 70% of our immune function is based on the gut health. That's where our food cravings come from. That's where our energy production is related to when we talk about mitochondrial function. There's so much that is dependent upon the gut functioning properly. people don't understand how important their gut is and how important the terrain of the gut is. So let's talk about that for a second. Largely in the gut, you have two types of bacteria, and I'm going to oversimplify this.
We want to oversimplify.
Yes, I love you guys.
I know you can do the science part of it.
Yeah. I love you, and I just want you to understand this so you can unpack it and tell your friends, right? So we have two main types of bacteria, anaerobic and aerobic.
That's even more complex than I thought you were going to go. I thought you were going to say good and bad.
No, well,
okay.
Both are good, but...
Okay, we'll go that route.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Anaerobic are the beneficial bacteria.
Okay.
And you want 96 to 99% of the bacteria in the gut need to be anaerobic.
Okay.
We only want 1 to 4% of the total bacteria in the intestinal tract to be aerobic.
Okay.
So without going into all the different types of aerobic and anaerobic, we won't go there, but just think of it in two main types of bacteria.
Okay.
One of those bacteria likes a positive electrical potential. The other one that we want the majority of wants a negative electrical potential. This is where the ORP comes in. When we drink water that has a negative ORP, like the Echo water does, you're now going to create the terrain and the biome for the anaerobic microflora.
Okay.
And that's critical because pesticides, overuse of antibiotics, and I'm not downing antibiotics, they're life-saving for bacterial infections. But for a virus, they don't do a thing but destroy your gut. So the reason they were designed is for life-threatening bacterial infections, and they're amazing for that.
It's just when we use them too much.
That's correct. So the reality is we can wipe out the terrain or the biome, if we'll call it. So the water that has the negative electrical potential, when it goes down into the colon, it is creating the biome that those bacteria need to live in.
Interesting.
So within 2 weeks, people with gluten and dairy intolerance, people with other food allergies, I'm not guaranteeing 100% of anything, but the majority will be normalized in a 2-week period.
That's a huge statement.
Yes.
Because I have gluten issues.
Do you?
I do. I cannot eat gluten. If I eat it, I look pregnant, like 9 months pregnant within 5 minutes. And so I'm actually really curious to give this a try.
Please do.
Okay, so how long do I have to...
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, I should be able to eat gluten again.
The process will begin in an hour. In 1 hour after drinking, you'll begin the process. Within 2 or 3 days, you'll start to notice, I can tolerate things a little bit different. My digestion's a little more efficient. Within 2 weeks, you're like, don't do this, but I'm eating red vines, right? Or the worst gluten you could put in your body. But the point is, you could be taking in gluten and dairy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So can we say that this hydrogen water is feeding the anaerobic bacteria or no? It's just helping
creating the environment they like.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So it's the terrain and the biome which they like to live in and have to. If we talk about strict anaerobes, they have to have a negative 300 to a negative 400 millivolts of electrical potential, or they can't live in that environment. So people are taking probiotics all the time, and it's just a Band-Aid at best, because until you're properly hydrated and until the terrain is back, those bacteria are never going to flourish. So it's just a temporary measure to take probiotics. Probiotics are not good. Prebiotics, for example, you can seed the gut, but you still have to have proper hydration and the right electrical potential. Otherwise, they can't create communities and live.
Interesting. Okay, so prebiotics, we simplify it as they're the food for the probiotics.
Yeah,
or the
fiber typically.
Bacteria, they feed them.
Yep.
And so I always talk about eating fruits and veggies because they're full of fiber, and we need the fiber to feed the good bacteria in the gut.
As long as the bacteria can be there.
Okay, so then you're taking it one step further of, the fiber
we got to
feeds
have the
it,
home for them.
but we need a home. And the water creates the correct type of home for them.
The electrical potential in the water, yes.
Okay, because not all water. It
That's
needs
correct.
to be the hydrogen water that has the correct electrical.
Well, and it needs to be true hydrogen water even.
True hydrogen water with the correct electrical
potential.
potential.
Yes.
Okay.
And hydrogen gas. So what's really interesting, and I'll get a little techie here for a second. In your gut, within the anaerobic family, you have these beautiful little bacteria called hydrogen trophs. And they actually take in hydrogen as energy source. And so there's these bacteria in the gut that when we create hydrogen in our gut, which we're supposed to, that's where we would get hydrogen naturally. So understand that Dr. Paul would never have needed to create Echo Water if we didn't have 90% of the population with gut dysfunction. I wouldn't have ever needed to, because
that's true.
200 years ago, we were making bacteria in our gut properly, and we were creating hydrogen gas and farting perfectly fine all by ourselves. And I say that because that's what flatulence is hydrogen and methane.
Okay, well,
So now we know that's the source of hydrogen our body would normally get hydrogen from.
Okay, let's talk about this, though, because I have teenage boys.
Oh, they're going to love this.
They fart all the time. Let's just be real.
Let's be real, yeah. And
boys,
they laugh,
come on.
right?
And then they laugh and think it's funny. So that's a good thing, then, that they're doing that.
Well, good or bad, that gas is created because of the fermentation process happening in the colon.
Okay.
So whenever you ferment something, you're going to, like you make kombucha, you're going to make gas. You're going to make bubbles. So in our intestinal tract, when we ferment foods, that's really how we digest in the first place. We're fermenting foods. There's going to be gas produced, depending on what we're making and what bacteria we have. Just like you can mess up kombucha by having the wrong bacteria and it can become poison.
Okay, so it's not necessarily always hydrogen that's being
Correct.
Released. That's why maybe they're stinky.
It's sulfur that usually smells it up. But yeah, flatulence shouldn't always be smelly.
Okay, so you're saying hundreds of years ago when we ate just regular food and the soil was nutrient rich and dense, we created our own hydrogen in our guts.
That's what the Creator designed us to do, because our entire body is carbon-hydrogen chains. When we look at the makeup of our body, what is stomach acid?
Hydrogen. It has HCl.
HCl, right? So you got to have H.
Yeah.
So you can't even make, which is why there's so many digestive issues. If you're not making hydrogen and you don't have a source of it in the body, you got to take tablets that are giving you that HCl. So if you don't have hydrogen gas that's free and available, not bonded to carbohydrates, proteins, all the other stuff, then we need to get that in our system. So most people don't have hydrogen, so they have stomach issues or they have digestion issues. The only ones that don't are the ones that are drinking a true hydrogen water, or those that never had a gut issue in the first place, which is extremely rare.
Yeah, it is, because a lot of people, like you said, 90% of people have gut issues. So are these gut issues purely from poor diet and the pesticides and antibiotics and stress and all the things of our modern life?
I would cut out poor diet, because
Okay.
that has nothing to do with gut issues.
Okay.
We should be able to eat anything we want to eat and process it. Our idea here in the U.S. of what proper food is completely wrong anyways. I mean, we go to Italy, they're eating pasta and cheese, and they're fine.
But let's go back to diet.
Yeah.
Someone eating Oreos and Frosted Flakes and ice cream all day long.
That's not food.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm with you,
we
right?
call it food.
I know we do.
That's disrupting their gut.
100%. But that's
So
not
that's
really
what I mean.
whole foods.
That's what I mean
not.
for a poor diet.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Processed foods in general are not going to give nutritional benefits like a whole food or something that we're eating that is in a whole food form, or something that we can at least know at one point was something that grew.
Okay, so
or
the
was water.
lack of whole food diet is causing gut issues,
Well,
contributing to gut issues.
It's the chemicals. It's always the man-made stuff that creates the problems. Yes, stress can do as much damage as a poor diet or more.
Yeah.
Stress is far more toxic than people understand, but it's really the pesticides that are destroying the terrain. But that's what they're designed to do.
Because they're meant to destroy the terrain of the plants. And
the bugs that are eating the plants. So what pesticides are typically there to do is to stop bugs from the nutrition transfer into the bug. So they are getting in the gut and they're disrupting the ability for that bug to take in nutrition properly, so they die. That's how pesticides work. But they told everyone, but that's never going to happen for humans. That's not the way, well, what's in our gut? Bugs.
Yeah.
So that's doing the same thing to us. And of course, now there's lawsuits and all kinds of stuff, so we know it's true. But years ago, they tried to say, no, it's not true. The reality is...
Some people believe it's not true still.
I know, unfortunately. Poor souls. But the reality is that they're doing exactly what they were designed to do. They're just doing it to the bugs in our gut. And so that creates the inability to take in nutrition properly.
Okay.
And that's what we're suffering from.
Yep.
We have nutritional issues. And so people are eating because they're not getting nutrition. They're only getting a part of what it is. And then when you've destroyed the terrain and the biome and you've flipped the polarity of the electrical potential in the gut, now you have encouraged what? And this is going to be a big aha moment for people.
Okay.
When we flip the electrical potential to a positive electrical potential, we are giving a home for what? Aerobic bacteria, which we should only have 1 to 4%. Well, now if we get more of it, what's going to happen naturally? By virtue of having aerobic bacteria, we're going to have anxiety and depression, and we're going to have carb and sugar cravings.
Interesting.
That's it. That's what happens. It is very, very simple math. Those bacteria eat carbs and sugar. So they're going to tell us, get me carbs and sugar.
Interesting.
So our food cravings are based on the bacteria in the gut. If we have anaerobic, then we want fat and fiber.
Interesting.
If we have aerobic, then we want carbs and sugar. Now, if we do the math, if 96 to 99% of the gut bacteria should be anaerobic, then we should be eating 96 to 99% fiber and fats.
Yep.
And we should be eating 1 to 4% carbs and sugar.
Oh, interesting.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we eat
The opposite.
way more than I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the American Standard Diet.
Correct.
Okay, so is there any way for people to like get their guts tested and know how much anaerobic they have versus aerobic or no?
Absolutely.
And how do you do that? I've never had
You
that
would do
done.
a stool sample.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just do a stool sample and they would tell you, oh, this is what you got.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well,
But they already know if they have food allergies, if they can't eat gluten and dairy, if they have different foods that are causing them a lot of problems, they already have gut issues. You know that.
Okay.
And they're typically Band-Aiding. Some people Band-Aid really well and other people don't. And so some people have serious problems. Other people don't.
So they're Band-Aiding with the probiotics, digestive enzymes, things like that.
Or even cutting out gluten.
That's what I do.
And try to eat foods that are not going to
Problematic.
stir up a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what my favorite thing in life is to have someone actually do a 2-week process and drink Echo water appropriately. And then 2 weeks later, let's go get some sushi or let's go get something gluten.
Well, I'm going to try it. I really am.
I love it.
I'm going to start today.
I love
so
it.
how much water of that do I need to drink every day?
If it's just this, it's 3 to 6 a day. I would do 6 just to get it all in your system. 6 a day. That's only 12 ounces, so it's only 70 ounces a day. That's way less water than someone should be drinking.
Okay.
But that's what I would say.
So 6 of those a day for 2 weeks.
Yep.
And does it matter when I drink them?
Spread it out.
Spread it out
every
through
couple
the day.
hours. Yeah.
And I can guzzle all 12 ounces at one time?
You can. Yes.
So there's no like real rules with this?
No.
Okay.
Just drink
I
it.
could do all 6 in an hour if I wanted to?
Well, I would spread it out.
Okay.
Through the day because
Okay.
you'll be in the bathroom. If you do 72 ounces
True.
at one time, you'll
True.
be in the bathroom. I would love to see it spread out more during the day so that you're getting that electrical potential down into the gut through an intermittent exposure. So get it down into the gut. Those bacteria are going to be in love. And they're like, yay for us. We're going to create communities. And all of a sudden, there's going to be there's going to be immune function issues. You're going to increase immune function rapidly. You're going to feel that, right? Like you will feel improved immune function. You will feel lack of food allergies when you're eating foods. It'll feel like things don't take as much energy to
Interesting.
process.
Well, I'm excited to try this.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about it. Yeah.
Okay, so I've heard you say, though, that this can help with those that have attention issues, ADHD, things like that. And I'm assuming because it's helping the gut? Or why is that?
Partially, but no.
Okay.
Funny enough, there's two master hormones in the body, leptin and ghrelin.
Yep.
So when you drink Echo water, because of the hydrogen gas in there, as soon as the hydrogen gas is in the stomach, it will signal ghrelin secretions to the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, and the brainstem.
Interesting.
And it will change cognitive function. It will change clarity, focus.
Wow.
And we kind of get this when people do fasting. Mm-hmm. You're clear. And you're like, why am I clear when I'm fasting? Like, I should feel out of it, right? Like, I haven't had food. Ghrelin. So it's the hunger hormone. When you're hungry, ghrelin is signaled.
Right.
And so ghrelin's going up to the brain to clear you out, and you're focused, right?
Interesting.
So the same thing happens when you're drinking water. Now we have 22 studies on Parkinson's. We have studies on Alzheimer's. And when I say we, I say the industry of hydrogen water, because the studies are showing that hydrogen has disease-modifying effects with Parkinson's.
Interesting.
So understand that hydrogen is very neuroprotective.
Okay.
A lot of autism, if you look at autism, they're saying there's a lack of ghrelin secretions.
Interesting.
Well, what happens if we get ghrelin up there where it's supposed to be? Those behaviors are going to go away.
Interesting.
So we have studies on bipolar, schizophrenia. You know, all these neurologic issues can be fixed. So if we really think about it, what was wrong? The gut.
Yep.
So if we fix the gut, we fix these other issues.
So are you claiming that 2 weeks of drinking Echo water will help someone with ADHD?
I wouldn't say it would take 2 weeks. I would say the mother will notice within an hour.
Really?
Yeah, if moms notice a lot of things.
Yeah.
They're the heroes, right? So moms notice, I just gave my son, especially, this water, and he's very different.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So I had, and I'll tell you one emotional story, which was one of my favorites. I've got a couple of stories in all these 16 years of having Echo, but 20 years of from the beginning doing this. There's two stories that are so amazing. I almost get emotional talking about it, but one was a mom that called and said, I just want to personally thank you for making this water. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. You know, that's sweet when you get those calls, right? And she's like, I am starting a business now. And I thought, okay, cool. She goes, let me tell you why that's so important. I had a business before. My son, it got so combative at 20 years old that he was punching me. He would be punching me. He would be hitting me. And I had to stop having a business out of home because he would just come in at any different time. And she said, I saw you on a podcast. I ordered your water system, put it in my home. My son hasn't hit me since.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought, oh my gosh, like I never thought of that.
Interesting.
Like what a reality is that?
Yeah.
And so she goes, I'm starting a business. And I'm like, now I know why that's so important.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
That you're not getting hit. And she goes, and now my son is talking about he wants to start a business. He's in such a different mental place.
Interesting.
And I'm like, that's deep.
Yeah.
Very deep.
So it's helping with mood.
Yeah. Because the bacteria is what causes the mood in the first place.
So then, because I talk a lot about depression, just because that was the battle I went through. So you're saying that hydrogen water can help depression then?
Yeah, hydrogen gas in general, as it restores gut and we get the terrain back and we get the right bacteria in, can affect mood. Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So I'm curious though, because I've also heard you say that this Echo water can help with sleep, and sleep is a huge issue for a lot of people. They can't sleep well.
Yeah.
So how is that?
Usually first night.
Really?
Yeah. So when we're at trade shows and people drink the water and they're at hotels, which is like
so hard to sleep in.
With Wi-Fi, right? Blasted, and some people are sensitive to that. And they're drinking, they're out later than normal. All their stuff's out the window, right?
Yep.
And they're like, I slept horribly. they'll come and say, oh, I haven't slept like that in 10 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think it's just obviously affecting brain function.
From restoring the gut.
Yes. So we have brain mapping, EEGs and other things that you can do. And typically doctors that use our water therapeutically in an office, they'll have someone come in, they'll connect the brain to do a brain map, and they will give them just 16 ounces of echo water. That's all they'll do. No, nothing else. And then they'll watch their brain. And within a few minutes, 32% plasticity change.
Interesting.
58% normalization of alpha and beta waves. So the brain typically, what causes these issues we're talking about is it's overfiring in one area and underfiring in another. So that's how it balances itself, right?
Interesting.
But if you bring those more into balance, the brain is working less and you're calm and you're functioning. And so those are the effects that typically are had. And then when it comes to a lot of different things, we right now in the industry, we're talking a lot about nitric oxide, right? We're talking about all these kind of things, hydrogen. There's 3 types of nitric oxide, and one of them you can only get through getting hydrogen water. So of the 3 types of nitric oxide, there's one that you can only get with doing hydrogen. And so it's very interesting.
So then that means this is great for like a pre-workout.
Yeah.
For people before they.
Oh, yeah.
Or during their workout to help with endurance.
So we have professional teams.
Yep.
The 49ers, the Raiders, the Dodgers.
That are all drinking Echo water?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Because 2 reasons. A, they can go longer, 5 times as long before they fatigue.
Okay.
And their recovery times are cut down 85, 90%.
Wow.
Yeah.
And because of the nitric oxide, is that why the recovery is?
No, it's just hydrogen reducing oxidative stress and inflammation. That's your primary thing that hydrogen does in the body. It manages oxidation and inflammation.
Okay.
So oxidation, as you know, is normal.